Everyone told me I was making a big mistake. This is me on the day I had to make the biggest decision of my life. I dreamed of being a YouTuber, of running my own business, of working for myself. On the other hand was the safe route that everyone wanted me to take. A degree, 4 years spent at school, a real job. The path my parents and my brother took and all my friends were taking.
Freshman year, I found out about reselling. I made an Instagram account, started posting some of my own stuff, and I was suddenly open to a world where you didn't have to go to college to succeed.
And I said, fuck it.
In this video, we're gonna be surprising my friend. Holy shit. On our way to London. Phrases, do it all, do it with your own.
Habibi, welcome to Dubai.
First product. Yo, in Germany. Big Ben right behind us.
The traditional route will always be there for us, but the opportunities we have now won't. I dove in with no plan B, no fallback, and I bet everything on myself. Over the last 4 years, there were moments where I felt like I'd literally got so lost.
11:58 p.m. Man, when I say that, it sounds bad. I'm just not dealing with it, but I'm gonna have to.
All the way to moments where I couldn't even believe what I'd created at 21 years old. But I documented it all. So here's what actually happened. When I graduated high school in 2022, I was fully determined to scale my e-commerce business and make YouTube videos about it. It's what I'd been doing for years. If you've been subscribed to me for a long time, that's what you know me for. I had a few thousand subscribers on this channel documenting what it was like to be an entrepreneur at the age of 18, building from when I was like 14. And I just loved making videos. I loved making YouTube videos. I loved everything about it. I was considering moving out of the small city I grew up in and going to Texas to put some pressure on myself to really just make something happen. And immediately I just realized things were not gonna go how I planned. There were other plans in store for me. Barely a couple weeks after I graduated high school, I got a job, and I had no intention of getting a job, but I got offered a job at a local marketing company, and it's something that I kind of predicted months before happening, but I just really didn't intend on it. It was a job as a videographer and editor. Sidebar, keep a journal if you don't already. You will thank me later. So I was gonna be shooting with real corporate clients, $20 an hour, so a little bit more than minimum wage. And at the time, I was making more money running my e-commerce business. I was even making a couple $100s a month from AdSense on YouTube. So I started working that job part-time. It was a few hours a week. 2 months after I graduated high school, it's the end of the final summer. And I say the final summer because all my friends were going off to college, but I was about to start my adult life. I didn't have the 4 years of college to go figure things out. My life was starting right there. I started waking up at 5:45 in the morning, going to the gym with my brother at 6 a.m., come home, start working after that.
All right, so yesterday was a new record for me, $4,500 in revenue on Amazon in a single day.
And that became the routine. Right around that time, I got reached out to by my best friend, Sean, who had some freelance work for me as an editor. I took the project. It was for a local bodybuilder I did not know, but I would quickly realize it was 4-time Mr. Olympia champion, Jeremy Buendia, one of the most famous bodybuilders in the industry. I didn't know anything about the fitness industry or bodybuilding, but I took this project to help Sean out, made a little bit of money, but that quickly escalated into a bigger conversation. And suddenly I was in this group chat and there's a list of deliverables and there's a workload of 30 hours a month. And as soon as I saw that, I kind of just said, no, I can't do this. And in my 4-year journey, I would say this was one of my first tests, and I kind of failed because I said no to this opportunity at first. But I talked to my brother and I realized something important that would carry on for the next 4 years. And it was just that you really have to give everything a shot. You never know what will happen if you give something a shot, and there's no harm in trying something for a little bit and then deciding it's not for you. It's not a failure if you decide it's not for you after doing it for a few weeks or a few months. At this point, I know now I would rather have that experience and know that I gave it a shot versus like, oh, I wonder what could have happened if I did that. I just never want to sit there and wonder what could have happened. So I went back to Sean and I said, you know what, I'll do it, like I'll figure it out. The question was simply the workload, and I was just gonna have to figure it out. So I agreed to do the work and we got ghosted. We got ghosted for like 3 months, and then randomly Sean hits me up and he's like, Jeremy wants to meet with us. He wants to like do all this content. It's gonna be dope. We're gonna go to Vegas. And by the end of 2022, I was officially a freelance videographer, and Jeremy Buendia was my first freelance client, which is crazy to say. I saw an opportunity. I knew I had to give it a shot, so that's what I was doing. Sean and Jeremy didn't end up working together. I picked up on all the work. That's kind of where I started off 2023. I'm creating this content for Jeremy, fired up to become a YouTuber, and then things just kind of started falling apart. right off the bat in 2023.
It's 8:52 p.m. Today is May 5th. I'm Sanjay Suresh. I'm 19 years old. This is me in my parents' house in Sacramento, California. The last 3-ish months, I've been tossing and turning ideas about what I should be doing. I don't know what I want to do. God, that really feels like it sucks.
I was still working the part-time job, making $20 an hour, but what happened was I started working more hours at this job. So I'm working more and more hours. My e-commerce business is slowly dwindling. And the YouTube thing, I was so fixated on being a YouTuber, on being optimal. I started editing for retention. I stopped making vlogs. I was making these informational videos and I was putting a ton of time into editing them. And I burned myself out. So after February, I did not post any YouTube videos in 2023. And then being very new to the freelance videography thing, I was not making a ton of money. I didn't know what to charge. I didn't have crazy equipment. I wasn't really marketing myself. There were a lot of problems. And in March 2023, after a bad client call, I just started questioning everything I was doing. And I was seriously lost and wondering like, how did I end up here making less money than I was making my freshman year of high school? I literally made more money when I was 14 years old than I was sitting there at 19. And I decided to revert back to my original plan, which was to move to Texas, scale the e-commerce business, make YouTube videos about it. I wanted to get back to that plan. April 2023 rolls around and I think that's like the bottom of my journey because I didn't have any retainer clients. I did 2 freelance shoots, made a couple $100s doing that. It was one of the lowest feelings in this whole journey. And I remember sitting there just fixated on, I need to get out of Sacramento. I gotta create some serious change in my life to force myself into the next season. So if this is graduating in 2022, this is how I felt in April of 2023. I really didn't feel like I'd made any progress. I just went down. And that's when it started to look up. The most important thing to take away from this part of the journey is that I did not quit. I got close, but I did not throw in the towel. And here's why. End of April 2023, I shot a video for Paul Piercy. Paul is now one of my best friends. If you guys have watched some of my other videos, he's in a lot of them. I did my first shoot for Paul that month for his clothing brand.
We're rolling my buddy's 1997
Jeep Wranglers.
How long we been driving for? Fucking too long, bro. 30 miles.
And I remember I was just telling him my whole plan about moving to Texas and pursuing my own content. And I'll never forget him asking me, so if you go pursue all these plans you have and you succeed with them, you'd probably never go back to shooting content for other people, right? And I'm like, no, I probably wouldn't. And I just remember him being like, oh, that's kind of a shame, bro. You're good at this. And I think he saw something in me that I didn't really see. But that conversation did get me thinking. And I got back and I had some new perspective. I realized that I needed to give what I was doing a serious shot. And somehow, after I had that mindset shift, a lot of people aligned with my vision in life at that moment. And that's something I realized looking back now and reflecting on it. A lot of different people in my life aligned for that moment.
May, June, July. Between then, me and Ken are gonna try to do a mock run of running a video production business over summer and try to find clients. One for fun, and mostly just for fun, just to see what would happen, you know? For him, I guess right now that's his overarching goal, but I don't know what mine is.
I decided to take something I loved, which was business. I loved business from the e-commerce stuff, and combine it with the freelance videography I was doing, which I'd proven I had some baseline skills with, but I hadn't been able to scale it to anything significant. At the same time, my best friend Ken, that was living in Hawaii, was realizing that he wanted to pursue videography as a career. And we started talking about building a production company together. And then on top of that, at the same time, I hadn't talked to Jeremy for a month. He was traveling, and he came back to me in May and he said, bro, I just got back from this trip. I got huge news. I'm coming out of retirement after 5 years of not competing at the Mr. Olympia. He was gonna be making a comeback. It was gonna be this huge thing. He needed to make all this content on a weekly basis, start putting out weekly YouTube videos, and he wanted to meet up, talk, and get on a retainer. Suddenly, things had gone from what the fuck am I doing with my life? Where did I go wrong? To, okay, here is a clear path forward. Go execute till the rest of the year and then reevaluate. And I quit my part-time job to go all in on myself.
We are flying to Phoenix. So, B&H.
Day 2 here at Alpha Land.
Oh, tarps off! Hold on. Yo, which one's Jeremy Buendia?
What's up, you guys? We are in Las Vegas. Welcome to our suite. This is Adventures of Paul and Sanjay.
Sanjay, what are we doing? We're out here making freaking deactive mystery boxes.
Only 25 days. Time to go to work. So yes, back in Denver, Colorado, finishing the prep.
Are you really 19? Really? Good genes. You're gonna look young when you're older.
Smart ass 19-year-old though. That was smart.
So from June to November of 2023, I traveled the entire United States with Jeremy Buendia, documenting his comeback prep after a 5-year hiatus. I lived fitness and filmmaking. It was wake up, eat, lift, film, edit, post, rinse and repeat. Jeremy and I lived in Colorado for almost a month and a half during that prep, and that was literally the day-to-day. And I loved it. I really didn't know much about fitness or bodybuilding, but I learned all of it in that time frame. And that's when I really feel like I got the most connected with fitness. Outside of that, Ken and I also launched our production company. And it just felt like I was living the dream. I was getting paid to travel and do what I love. It was something that I never imagined for myself. I didn't think I could get paid to travel, and suddenly I was living it. Now on the production company side, this is location 7. Talked to people at 6 of the locations, got a phone number, a business card, wrote down our contact info, gave out another business card. So we got 4 maybes.
It's like we kind of got the momentum going now. Yeah.
First day of like reaching out to people in person.
Humbling.
Yeah.
And it could be.
In a good way.
Yeah, in a very good way.
Yeah.
Not bad.
That's
not bad.
I think that's day 1 of reaching out to clients.
Day 1, baby. Yeah, we'll see.
See what happens.
Just gotta send a couple emails, DMs. Peace. Transition.
We didn't really make a ton of progress with the production company to start. The ball was there. It was not rolling, but it was there. Jeremy competes at the Olympia in November of 2023, and I'm just wondering kind of like, okay, what's the next chapter? It sounds like he's gonna compete again next year, so, you know, I still have my job. 2024 rolls around and Ken and I commit to taking the production company more seriously. Get our LLC filed, we change our name, and Ascender Production Company is born. Rise and Ascend. We start marketing a little bit. I start posting on Instagram. I start posting on YouTube after not posting pretty much all of 2023. And we started getting a little bit of traction. It didn't matter what the project was. We were just happy to be working, so we did a lot of random things. Jeremy and I were still locked in, and there were some new projects in mind. He wanted to open a gym. And that's important to me, but you gotta stick around to find out why. One really important lesson I learned at the beginning of 2024 was the pursuit of money. It's something I view a lot differently now than I did those first couple months of 2024. I had this astronomical goal of wanting to make $200,000 that year. Not even close to the amount of money I made in 2023. 200,000 sounded lofty, it sounded legit, and I just wrote that down. And I quickly got humbled. I got so fixated on trying to sign as many new clients to the production company as possible that all the existing clients that I had suffered. The quality was just not where it should have been. I felt a lot of imposter syndrome around this time because I was working in a field where I was 19 years old and a lot of the people that were doing something similar were a lot older. And it was that March that I decided that I didn't care about the money anymore. I just cared about being the best videographer. I started telling myself if I got to the top 5% of videographers, I would make the money I want to make regardless of like what that number is, however much money it is. If I am one of the best videographers in the field, I'll be making the money that I want to be making. I still subscribe to that philosophy today, and I think it applies to anything you're doing. If you just become the best at it, if you're focused on being the best, you'll be able to make the money that you want to make. So 2024 continued to take me around the US on a bunch of different projects. Jeremy ended up getting injured, so he could not compete, but he was moving forward with his plan of opening a gym. And by the end of 2024, He had keys in hand, a name was decided, and Stoic Gym was officially in motion. Let's zoom out a little bit. In this moment, December 2024, I'm still living with my parents, I'm making solid money. Ascender, our production company, is making a little bit of money. I had basically killed my e-commerce business, and I still was not consistently posting personal content. Fitness had become a core part of my life. I worked out basically every day, did my first bulk, messed up my first cut and lost pretty much all the gains. And on top of that, I jumped into running. I ran my first marathon at the end of 2024. So I was sitting there at the end of 2024, kind of contemplating what the next thing was. Did I need to put more attention to my personal brand? Was it time to go all in on Ascender? And I really wouldn't have that answer until March of 2025, but I wasn't in a rush to figure it out because at that point, I'd kind of become detached from the outcome. I had an undeniable confidence in myself to make things happen. So no matter what path that I ended up going down or whatever happened, I was confident that I would be able to make a success out of it. That is the confidence that will allow you to succeed in anything. Don't ever lose that confidence in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, no one does. Fast forward March 2025, I go to Miami with Jeremy, and that's when I realized how big the vision was for Stoic Gym. It wasn't just a gym in Roseville, California. Suddenly there was a 10-year plan in front of me. There was this crazy vision and it was something that I really aligned with. I was offered equity in the first Stoic Gym location here in Roseville, California to come on board, help market it, get it off the ground with Jeremy, and I took it. I never expected to be a gym owner. I never expected to get so deeply involved in fitness and the fitness industry, but I did. And it all goes back to 2022. You really have to give everything a shot. You never know what will happen if you give something a shot, and there's no harm. I would rather have that experience and know that I gave it a shot versus like, oh, I wonder what could have happened if I did that. What an insane plot twist that choosing to be a freelance videographer in 2022 would lead me to becoming a gym owner in 2025. All comes down to the fact that I took a chance on an opportunity that I initially said no to, and things just aligned and we saw it through. We saw the whole thing through. July 2025, we opened Stoic Gym to the public and I'm officially a gym owner. A gym owner, a videographer, a creative director, a YouTuber, production company owner. I was doing so many things at the same time. From July to November of 2025, I redefined what hard work meant to me, and the phrase, do it all with your all, was born. Trained for a half Ironman, completed it, worked day in, day out at Stoic Gym, continued documenting Jeremy's final prep to the Olympia, and that took me pretty much through the end of the year. Jeremy retired from bodybuilding to go all in on the gym business, and the direction shifted once again. We traveled not just the US this time, but the entire world, and today I sit here 4 full months into 2026. The mission right now is scaling Stoic Gym. The fire for scaling Ascender has never burned hotter. The fire for building my personal brand is there. And that's why I'm sitting here at 11:20 p.m. on a Thursday filming this video. We are doing it all with our all once again. And people ask me, do I regret not going to college? And the answer is no. The answer is I may not have gotten the traditional college experience, but I got real life experience that you couldn't pay for. And something I gotta mention is I sacrificed a lot the last 4 years to get to where I'm sitting today, but I didn't do it negatively. Sacrifice is made out to be this negative things, dreaded thing that you're gonna have to do if you wanna do anything for yourself, you wanna go build any cool thing. But it doesn't have to be negative. You just gotta realize you will have to give to get. And I sacrificed a variety of things over the last 4 years, from a lot of time that I could have spent hanging out with my friends to a lot of sleep. I averaged less than 6 hours of sleep for the second half of 2025. I think I'm still paying for that now. But the way I look at it is I love what I'm doing right now, and I'm also making these sacrifices to reap a greater reward in the future. If you're considering taking an untraditional path, whether it's not going to school or something else, the question that you gotta ask yourself remains the same. How much do you believe in yourself? Because I ended high school with 100% belief in my ability to make things happen for myself. And as you guys just heard, the journey was not a straight line by any means as I had originally expected, naively. It was a lot of work, it got hard, it was a lot of late nights, it was a lot of early mornings, it was a lot of tough conversations, it was a lot of growing up the last 4 years. But I made some amazing things happen, and I couldn't be more happy to be sitting here in this position that I'm in right now. I still get to wake up every day, do what I love, make these videos for you guys with that same fire that I had to do this 4 years ago when I was a kid that just wanted to make YouTube videos for the rest of his life. If you have any questions or you're looking for some advice, comment down below or use the link in the description to find me on Instagram. Send me a DM. I would love to talk to you and help you out because I was there 4 years ago wondering what I should do. And if you're new here, I'm excited to bring you along my journey as I navigate my 20s with my best friends, building businesses and figuring out life and entrepreneurship. I will see you guys in the next video. Rise and ascend.